All right, welcome everyone to another episode of The Way.
Welcome to The Way, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of legal business and marketing. Each week, we'll be discussing the latest trends, strategies, and insights that are shaping the legal industry. So whether you're a lawyer, marketer, or business owner in the legal industry, this podcast is for you.
How are you, Marisa?
I'm great, Brittany. How are you?
This is good. I like our little takeover of
Yes.
no Ryan on the way here. This is fun. But it also means I feel like I have to lead the conversation, and I usually let Ryan do that. So I'm officially the host number one today. I'm in his spot, so I'll see if I can do him justice.
This is the host seat. Anybody who watches, this is the host seat. Always.
Yeah, if you're watching, yes. Also, if you're watching, my dog may make a guest appearance at some point in the bottom of the screen. We had workers at my house today doing some housework, so brought the dog in for an office visit.
Therapy dog for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's pretty chill. He's just he's our director.
Yep.
So we thought we'd talk about today. Marisa and I both came from Ryan's firm, obviously as not leadership roles, right? And in different departments. Obviously, I was in marketing and Marisa was a paralegal. And we thought it'd be interesting to hear our take today of what it looks like from a non-leadership position where we were identified in our old firms as potential leaders or potential middle managers in our firm, and in what ways that Ryan and Allison had started to, train us and prepare us for moving us up into more responsibility roles and things like that. What do you think are some things that they were doing right, or things that, had we continued, you would have liked to see to advance you in your career?
Yeah, I think for me personally, so I was the titled training paralegal. So without being told, Marisa, you're going to be doing the trainings going forward for any new hire that we have in the paralegal or legal assistant case manager role. It was just kind of a thing that happened.
Right.
So I think if we were still there, that's definitely somewhere I would have probably been promoted to, maybe, I guess, what you would call managing paralegal. Mm-hmm. So overseeing the paralegals, and just if there's a question that they have, they would come to me with it, which was already the case.
Right.
I think also in that position, not necessarily being in leadership, but being involved in higher level meetings that aren't really the leadership meetings or quarterlies that just involve the main leadership team, but being a part of the larger meetings where things can't get confused by too many people knowing the same information. It's like one person you come to get that information from on your direct level.
Yeah, that's so important, right? Because we would, at our quarterly, state of the firm addresses that Ryan would do. So for those that are unfamiliar, we would, every quarter, we'd have the whole team on a meeting, typically on Zoom, since we had a lot of remote workers. And yes, Ryan and our other COO at the time would lead a firm of address that would just, go over our vision and our values again. And then our, quarterly goals. Yeah. Did we hit them? Did we not? Wins that happened, all different stats. He'd shout out each department and different wins, even down to things like our reception team and how many phone calls did they take in that quarter, stuff like that. And then what would be great is he would hand it off to each department head, who would give sort of a quick update of what's going on in their department and stuff like that. And we didn't, as we were leaving, we still did not have a formal managing paralegal, leader, paralegal, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But yes, you were certainly being, primed. Like you said, there wasn't this formal process of we've got a new paralegal coming on, Marisa's the lead trainer. Yep. It was just established, she's best at training. She's going to do it. But I think firms can do better in that of of once they've identified
Yes.
like that potential person in their firm, just make it official.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point as well, because I took the lead on starting to develop training through Tranual that we were started using. We never really finished it, but it was really difficult for me to put all of that information in there while still doing my job and then having somebody new sitting next to me. So I think if I was taken out of that direct role of having to manage a certain amount of cases that is typical and then lessen my caseload, that allows me to train, but I'll also have, when I'm not training, I'll have the time to put that information in Tranual. So being at, I guess, a higher level in that sense, but still being able to work on cases. But for you as well, in your position, when the case managers, paralegals at our firm, when we would have issues with case status or, you know, getting in touch with a client or having to send a gift to a client, any ideas that we had related to marketing. Like I remember I brought you in a Glastonbury magazine one day because I'm like, oh, this would be great if we could like put our information in here. So like little things like that. But Brittany was in charge of that, but not really labeled as a manager of marketing because
I didn't, well, especially because I didn't have anyone technically under me, right? So like you essentially, I mean, a leadership role or management role, you know, typically automatically means that you have someone below you, and by below you I just mean, of course, that you are supervising someone else in some way. But it's like you said, right, you didn't necessarily have paralegals under you, and I didn't have marketing assistants under me. We were in the process, you know, again, but as we were leaving the firm, I was actually like a week away from hiring my first assistant and everything. But we're just sort of informally known in these firms as someone you go to ask, you know, answer questions, to get things done. And I think that leads into look for those people in your firms, like identify these, not to pat ourselves I guess in the back, but these superstars that are, you know, willing to go the extra mile, willing to, like you said, like be the one to find the answers, to go the extra mile.
And you'll notice that there's a reason why people go to certain people for these answers. And from my perspective, it's mainly because that person who's answering the questions or finding the answers enjoys being in that role. Not that they want to be in charge of everybody and tell people what to do, but for me personally, I loved training paralegals. I that's what I enjoyed. I liked teaching people. I would take that over caseload of, you know, 150 files, and that's all I do. So I think it's easy to identify, and if you approach that person with the opportunity to maybe be at a higher level and, you know, take on a management role, if you identify it, that'll probably be a great feedback.
Yeah, and you just hit on something so true, and it reminds me of so many things I've like learned and thought of throughout my career, that identify the people that want to be teachers, right, in your firm, because like the best leaders are actually the best teachers, right? They're not necessarily even the people that are best to do the work, right? Like they're not necessarily your best producers even, but what they are is your best teachers. Like leadership is all about teaching other people how to teaching other people the way, right? Yeah, teaching other people how to be better at their jobs. And it's not a good leader isn't someone who just, like you said, loves being in charge of people, loves to control other people. Like that's certainly not, these are not qualities of a great leader. A great leader wants everyone else to continue to be better by continuously teaching themselves, teaching themselves. They're always looking for the next thing to get them smarter and gain more knowledge. So I think finding the teachers on your team is super important to see.
I agree.
Which leads into different opportunities that I think we got. And again, I think I had more of them throughout my time just because I was at the firm longer than you were, since I was more specifically alone in my marketing department outside of Ryan, of course, as the CEO, working with me on collaborations of what we should be doing to market the firm. But I was the only marketer, obviously. You were not the only paralegal there. So there was a lot that Ryan did for me to make sure I was being positioned in whatever way that I wanted, right? First of all, we had like direct conversations with each other of where do you see yourself? Like, what do you want out of this? So it was made clear to me and to Ryan that, I was invested in continuing my career here, learning more, learning whatever I had to, gain the momentum to become what he was willing to offer me, which was, working the way up and managing people underneath me eventually, all that stuff as we grew. If you find people that are showing you these interests, so during your employee evaluations every quarter, have those conversations with your employees. Like, what do you see yourself doing in the future? Whether it's with the firm or not, right? Like, have those honest conversations. And if they're telling you, yes, I want to keep growing here, then find the ways that they can keep growing here and find the opportunities to keep them growing. So, everything from offering them to go to conferences, which I think is so important for paralegals.
So important. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Being solo in your area, you can be easily identified by whoever is above you, your supervisor, and you have those one-on-one conversations. But I think when you're in a larger department, so for paralegals, there's probably quite a few of them, if not hundreds at large firms. And they get overlooked a lot of the time, I think. And it's not to the fault of anybody specifically, but it's just if you have that person in that lead role, it doesn't have to be an attorney. It doesn't have to be HR or whoever, but if you set somebody, or even two, like if it's a really large firm, you have two managing paralegals that they collaborate together. Smaller firms, you might just need one. If there's ideas, that one is the managing paralegal is the one that presents this to management and then has those hard conversations. But I think also a really great point is that you and Ryan did have those one-on-one meetings. That is crucial. No matter how large your firm is, like, make the time for it because your team is going to feel seen, heard, and valued. And that's the best you could ask for out of a team. If your team feels that way, your firm is going to succeed because they're going to want to make sure you are at your highest level as a firm. They feel a part of that. I know, like, recognition is huge. It doesn't have to be me personally. I think I've talked about this before, but like, mine didn't have to be out in the open to everybody.
Sure.
I liked recognition from who I was working for. It could be in private. Right. It could be like, Marisa, you're doing an excellent job. Whatever the case may be. But that boosted my confidence each time. Wow, I'm doing good at this. Or the managing, I would do that for the paralegals under me. I wasn't in the managing role even. Yeah. I just anybody I would train, I'm yeah, that's awesome. They didn't understand something, I explain it a different way. I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you mean. This is how we're doing it. And they'd be like, oh, and I'm like, you're doing great. Yeah, absolutely. Don't feel overwhelmed. I think you're doing a great job.
I mean, yeah, it's so taken for granted. I think that praise is important. Obviously, we're huge fans of unreasonable hospitality and we'll get there. But as he always says, criticize in private, praise in public. We in our Slack, we had our gratitude channel at the firm, and it was so important, I think, to be able to just quickly and easily and often shout out people for things big and small, right? It could be anything from I'm just so grateful that Marisa was able to do this task for me while I, ended up having to go get my kid off the bus, whatever. Right. Or it could be something obviously much larger, but all of it's so important, right? And, the other thing that obviously is so important for law firm owners as they're identifying people who want to, move up and take more ownership and things like that is obviously investing in training for them.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. In all aspects.
Exactly. In both how to be a leader and obviously just their craft in the firm, right? Whether it's marketing, the paralegal, whatever. Or even, even the lawyers, right? An associate that wants to eventually maybe be a managing partner, right. Provide them with the trial institutes or whatever that they want to, want to invest in to further their professional development.
And I think another area that kind of gets overlooked a little bit is law clerks.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I've worked with some amazing law clerks, and they come to me with questions and I would tell them like, this is how it's done, blah, blah, blah. But when I had a question that was more higher level legal work, I could go to them first. So like they know the books, they know, the
well, because they're
studying
even far less removed than the seasoned lawyers, right? Because they're still often in law school or just out. Yeah.
But so if I had questions higher up, I could go to them. They'd work me through it. If they don't know the answers, obviously you go to the attorney that's available. But I think if your law clerks are also looking for more or need training, they could train at the same level of the paralegals even.
Absolutely.
Like there's a lot that they would come to me with questions on, and it's just because they don't know the back end. Like I could not do Brittany's job. Like marketing, maybe I'll have ideas here and there, but I have no idea how it works.
Yeah, like, most of it would be a foreign language.
Yeah,
and it's myself, in the same position as you. If I was actually, I know the very basics of what you guys do every day, but like tell me I have to write a demand in front of me. I'm like, what? Exactly. I understand what a demand is and does. However, I cannot write one.
Tell me, Marisa, get our SEO up. I'm like, what? What does that mean? Thankfully, I know what SEO is now, but
yes.
Ask me.
I still don't know what a demand is. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna send Brittany through my training.
Yeah, honestly, I should. Yeah. if this career falls back on me, yes, I will take your training to become a paralegal.
Perfect.
Yes, and vice versa. Yeah, you can take mine.
Absolutely. I would.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have a marketing director, a CMO, like it's great for everybody to continue their education. And I talked about this with Allison last week, but it's getting the person that you see is kind of just like at this like plateau, and you could tell they could do so much more. You could see it in them. Maybe they don't have the courage to ask because it costs money.
Yeah.
That was huge for me.
Yeah.
So, having a budget for whoever is interested in training, and even the people that might be shy to ask, and it might not be about money, it's just like they're shy, putting it out there, like you have somebody that is in charge of this. For example, the managing paralegal, if you have one, they can look into conferences throughout the year and pick a few that would work and present it to your team. Like, is anybody interested in this? So we have this many seats for this one, this many for this. And, let me know which ones you're interested in and send them to those conferences. There's like CTLA in Connecticut. They're great.
Right.
They're great.
Yeah. I hear they have these awesome speakers named like Marisa Rua.
It's my first time speaking, but I went to one in 2023, as a paralegal.
Yep.
And I learned so much that day, like more than I learned like on the job in a year. I learned so much that day. Like I took so much in from that.
Yeah.
So somebody that really wants it is really going to ask you for it. Or if they're presented with it, they're really going to say, oh my God, like, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want that.
It's so true. The vast majority of the employees won't seek it out themselves or ask you about it because it's just sort of been conditioned, I think, especially in law firms, especially with the paralegals, that like that's just not standard practice to think about like the paralegals getting to partake in things like conferences and trainings and things like that because they're not, they don't have required CLEs or this and that. Yeah. But it's just so important. And I think also being able to find a community of peers is just so important. I mean, again, lawyers can seek out masterminds and these conferences where they go and commiserate with fellow lawyers and law firm owners. I think it's so important that paralegals, especially in the firms, can have something like that too, which, of course, like why we created at Bestera, Para Era and our hope and plan for that is to be able to provide that place and space for paras to come together and, be able to commiserate and share what's going on and to collaborate and all that good stuff. Yeah. So I think that would be an awesome investment for law firm owners, obviously, and that are trying to figure out, well, how, where, what should I look for and to help with advancing my people.
I think another important thing that we should mention is that for like the attorneys or the law firm leadership team, if you're thinking, okay, well, who's going to take care of our clients, if our paralegals are at conferences? That's something important to put in place, a system, before sending them. Don't give them a week's notice that, hey, there's this conference and, we want to send whoever. You need to figure out who's going to manage your cases. Set expectations with your clients ahead of time. We use case status at the firm, and we could set pre-scheduled messages. So if I'm going to be out, or if quite a few of the paralegals are going to be out, have them like set that up for the clients. So they know this day they're not going to be available. And it's also important to like understand that you're sending them for something that's going to elevate them and your team. Anybody could call out sick for 3 days and nothing is getting done and no progress is being made. But you're sending somebody to a conference for a day or two, maybe. You're helping everybody at your firm because they're going to come back with lots of knowledge.
Yep.
Your clients are going to be aware that they're away. So setting systems up and looking at it.
And again, sending, that one or two identified, potential leader in your firm of that para. They're going to come back. Again, they've absorbed all this knowledge, and then they're going to share it with those other paras. Team, because again, they've been identified as leaders, as trainers, and they're the best ones to be able to then teach it back to the team. I agree. So again, you're getting your money's worth, right? Because you send one person to a conference for one ticket, and then you're getting a whole team that's getting to reap the knowledge. So definitely worth the investment. I think that mostly covers it. I mean, I would say too, we didn't cover it in depth, but I'd say outside of, knowledge on subject knowledge that needs to be invested in, which again, there's places to go and look for that. Obviously here at Best Era, like we're trying to build some of these things for law firms because we realize the lack of it in the space for departments that aren't the lawyers. Come visit us in our website and things like that if you think that's something that's important for you to invest in your firm for those other departments. But also specific leadership training really does need to happen for people that you're identifying as sort of middle management or just in some way going to lead others. I don't know if you were part of the firm yet, or if you had. I think you're probably still fairly new, but Ryan and Allison had invested in bringing on a speaker. She's great, Stephanie Everett from Lawyerist. She's awesome. But she and she for a couple of years, she also helped facilitate our annual meetings. But we had her come in and run a very specific, just all day, a leadership training for, again, a couple of people at the firm that were identified as potential people that would be great at. Because we were getting to that size of a firm where we knew that we would need middle management roles based off of, again, numbers and lines of communication. So anyways, I was part of that one, and it was just I took a lot out of it. For sure.
And I think it's important that when you're identifying these potential higher level management roles throughout your team, that it's not, the recommendation is not just coming from one person. I think the leadership team needs to meet on these things as a whole, because, one person might work with this all-star every day and they might think, they're great, but they might not be the best fit. There might be somebody else. So I think identifying that as a leadership team and having your potential management team understand that, yes, they're not part of the leadership team, but they are at a higher level. And when you're on leadership does not share every piece of information with their team. Some things are within the leadership only. Management should be the same way. I think they're in that role to maybe speak with the leadership team at certain points of the year, but also not everything needs to be relayed back to the people they're in charge or supervising.
Absolutely. Yeah. The lines of communication need to be, specified so that there's not like games of telephone and that the right information is getting disseminated to the right people.
Yep.
So absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. So yes, invest in training in your team and your potential leadership. You'll have a lot happier people, I think. Oh, and of course, we always love our Jay Henderson employee testing. And he, they have a specific like leadership management test one too. So, which was another thing that Ryan had me do. Yeah. And of course, I was so stress taking because I'm like, what if it says I'm so bad at this and Ryan's going to fire me? Thankfully, I passed, quote unquote, in the sense that it didn't tell me I'd be a terrible leader. Yeah. But
when I read mine, so don't be scared when you read it. Yeah. Because you're not really going to understand it. You're going to be like, that is not me. Yeah. Like you're like, I am not that way. Yeah. But you really are. But it could be really good for the position that you're in, that you are that way.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of like speaks like gibberish a little bit when you read it. So Jay Henderson, like you can also have him, go through those like.
He's like a tarot reader.
Yes.
For these hiring tests. Yeah. And can really spot some impressive things. Yeah, exactly.
But having it within your firm too.
Oh,
like you already hired somebody. I think it's really important. Like, maybe you're in between like a few different candidates for a leadership role or management role, and you don't know which one might be the best fit. Have them both take a test and kind of weed it out that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's spot on.
Yeah.
So what have you been reading, writing, listening to, watching?
So I just started watching this new series on Netflix, and it's called Pulse.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of it.
Just came out the other day.
Okay.
I would compare it to like a more intense Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
like more, does it focus more than on the medical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. In the ER. It's based out of a hospital in Miami and starts off with a hurricane in Miami, and there's just a lot going on. It's very intense.
All right.
But it's really great.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. I finally had caught all the way up to White Lotus, so I finished as of recording this, this past Sunday was like the season 3 season finale. No spoilers, but I definitely predicted everyone who was going to die. I'm not even people die. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the first season.
Yeah.
And it was funny, like I was leaving her for Hawaii right before that. I'm not kidding.
That's so funny.
And I was like, I didn't even mean for this to happen. Like,
yeah. So it was good. I definitely liked the first 2 seasons more than this one, but I will, I'm sure, continue to watch it. Interested to see which White Lotus resort they'll be at next. Yeah. Someone mentioned they should do like a ski resort.
Ooh,
White
that
Lotus.
Would be a good idea.
Yeah. So that would be interesting. Although I don't know if you have seen the memes about this of like making fun of how everyone just always eats fruit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I don't know what they would eat at a ski resort because
they would just drink hot chocolate.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Hot toddies and hot chocolate. Yeah. I don't know what they would end up. Marshmallows. I don't know what they'd eat all day, every day. But yes, for those out there that don't know this joke, the running joke with White Lotus, since all of the places they've gone to have been more tropical or warmer climates, for whatever reason, every meal, everyone's always just only eating fruit. Even like dinner, I swear there's just fruit on their plates. But it's funny. So I just finished that and haven't picked up on anything else yet. So maybe I'll have to catch this Pulse show and see how that goes.
Pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will end this here and we hope you tune in next time for our next episode.
Next dynamic duo here.
I know. We'll have
it's our first podcast together.
I know. We'll have to figure out some more episodes for just the two of us. Yeah. Kick Ryan out some more. Just kidding. Him and Allison.
I do like 10 podcasts now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, we didn't actually kick him out. Him and Allison are just enjoying some much needed R&R in Cabo. Yes. So happened for them. So and
I hope they're sipping Mai Tais or something.
Yeah, some margaritas. Getting tan.
Yeah. Being waited on.
I was going to say they're at our Nobu residence, that if you're a Besta subscriber, you get a week free there as well. I mean, the food there. While there is fruit, you can definitely eat fruit as well. But oh my gosh, all the seafood, the sushi is just to die for. So you can't beat it. Now I'm sad I'm not there. I'll have to go back soon.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, we'll catch you next time.
All right, bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Way with Best Era. Be sure to visit our website, bestera.io. From there, get more resources, insights, and to connect with us directly. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. That way you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep striving for your version of success.